Hello, and thank you for joining us for today's Thought for the Day, January the 9th. The title of today's thought is Walk Before Me and Be Blameless. Now, Abraham is one of the three outstanding characters in the Old Testament. The other two are Moses and, of course, David. Genesis 17 tells us that when Abraham was 99, the Lord appeared and said unto him, I am Almighty God, walk before me and be blameless, that I may make my covenant between me and you. Verses 1 and 2. Abraham's acts of faith were an essential ingredient in following God's injunction to walk before me and be blameless. We read how God changed his name to Abraham, saying, I have made you the father of a multitude of nations, verse 5. Notice the present tense. In God's eyes, there was no time. He sees the future as he sees the present. To him, they are all one. Paul understood this when he wrote of believers possessing the same faith as Abraham in Romans chapter 4. He said, is the father of all who believe, who also walk in the footsteps of the faith of our father Abraham, who is the father of us all, as it is written, I have made you the father of many nations, in the presence of God, in whom ye believed, who gives life to the dead and calls into existence the things that do not exist. Verses 11, 12, 16 and 17, except in the mind of God. Paul continues, Abraham grew strong in his faith, fully convinced that God was able to do what he had promised. That is why his faith was counted to him as righteousness. But the words, it was counted to him, were not written for his sake alone, but for ours also who believe. Verse 20, 23 and 24. Abraham's interaction with God is a powerful lesson to us, which is further added to as we read Genesis 18. There we read of three men who come to Abraham, and he immediately senses that they are angels, one of whom is the angel of his presence, Isaiah 63 verse 9, bearing the name of Yahweh, who says, Shall I hide from Abraham that which I am about to do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I have chosen him, that he may command his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness. Verse 17 and 19. Part of the blameless walk before God is to share the way of God with our children and with others. The Hebrew word for blameless does not mean sinless. Only Christ was sinless. But the same Hebrew word is translated as upright and in sincerity. In some places, for example Joshua 24 verse 14 and the 2nd of Samuel 22 verses 24 and 26, the AV translation is as perfect. So it can give us the wrong impression. So let us aim to follow faithfully Abraham and his blameless walk before our God in the days that remain to us. Thank you for joining us for today's Thought for the Day. If you enjoyed it, please share it with others, and remember, as you go about your daily life, do all to the glory of God, acknowledging, of course, that the antidote to sin is not only not to sin, but to do good. Thank you, and God bless.